All right, we'll do the payment objection using the net payment or savings plan to justify the payment. Antonia, if you'll okay the payment that works best for you, by the way, at 60 months, you're at 544 to 564. Okay that there. Authorize that down there, and I'll get your new vehicle ready for delivery.
That's way out of pocket for what my wife and I discussed on the payment. Where did you get that payment?
Okay, I understand. We hear that a lot. Other than the payment, though, everything else is fine. Nothing else stops you from taking delivery, correct?
Everything else is fine, sir.
Okay. Antonio, we're at 564. I'm going to use the high end just to be conservative. The actual payment will depend upon the credit check, once we run the credit. At 60 months. And the price of your vehicle is $31,385. Now, make no mistake, you are not paying $31,385, but that's the MSRP, and I'll tell you why I use the MSRP in a few minutes. Most people, when they hear the payment or they see their payment, they have the same reaction that you do. Too high, too high, too high. Yet I'm going to bet you a dollar to a dime every time you've ever purchased a car, that car payment was probably the highest payment that you had ever had in your life, right? Okay, if you're a homeowner, first time you bought a house, or your house right now, when you got that payment, you walked out of the closing office and you said, gee, how are we ever going to make it? But after a while, you get used to it. But I don't want to talk about getting used to a payment. I want to talk about what really is entailed in the entire payment. I want to look at the big picture, if you will, just not the $564 a month check that you write each month. Because a portion of that is actually a savings plan. Now, most people don't think about a car, any car, even a Honda with great resale value. They don't think about it as a savings account, but it is. Does it depreciate? Sure, it depreciates. But at the end of the day, when you're finished paying for this vehicle, you're going to have a piece of paper that says your name, the vehicle ID, and that piece of paper is worth, well, 5 years from now, your Honda will be worth conservatively about 40% of the MSRP. Okay, that number doesn't come from me. That number comes from the American Leasing Guide or Edmunds or KBB. Okay, now obviously it'll depend on the condition. If you keep it in great condition, you don't run the miles way up, and you take good care of it, shoot, it could be worth 50%. If you have a couple accidents, well, it could be worth 30%. But 40% is a conservative number. Now, if we take $31,385, do me a favor here, punch in $31,385, and then hit the multiply sign. Then times 40%. What is that?
12,554.
12,554. So that's the ending value. Okay, so when your last payment's done, you now have an asset. It's not in the form of a piggy bank, it's in the form of a car title, but you got an asset worth 12,554. Now divide that by 60 months for me real quick, if you would.
$209.23.
All right, let's round it down to 209. Every time you write out that $564 check, and this ought to make you feel better about it, $209 of that is going into Antonia Daniels' savings account. Again, doesn't look like a piggy bank. It's the car title. So if we take 564, punch in 564 there for me real quick, and subtract 209.
$355.
Your net payment on this vehicle is $355 a month. Now that sounds a whole lot more palatable, doesn't it? Okay?
Yes.
Look, if you've ever been to a financial planner, they always say pay yourself first, because if you don't, you won't. Well, $209 of this $564 is going into a savings account. Your net payment's $355. If we divide $355 by 30 real quick.
$11.83.
That's your net payment for your car a day. You can't rent a car for under 25, 30 bucks, and you definitely can't rent a 6-cylinder Honda EXL 2014 Honda Accord. And there is another bonus in there. Multiply 12,554 times 7%.
$11,032.
It's $1,132. The reason I use 7% is that's what the tax rate will be.
Okay.
Okay, when you get done paying for this car. Should you trade it, you've got an $1,132 bonus right there. So as you can see, this payment looks high, but when you look at the big picture, the net's $355, you're going to have $1,132 tax credit, so the payment's not nearly what it seems to be. So will 60 months work for you, or would you like me to look at 66?
Give me 60 months.
Here you go.